specific marker stars associated with that nakshatra, and they don't actually always fall in the nakshatra itself. Like Ardra, the nakshatra Tara of Ardra is around 6 degrees of Gemini, which is not quite in Ardra. Do you want me to put this on?
I guess you're giving.
It's a strong statement.
So anyway, this is a client of mine, and I asked her, has your husband ever fallen off a horse while riding really fast? Right? So Ashwini is the nakshatra, and the nakshatra Tara of Ashwini is, there are two because Ashwini is twins.
10 degrees.
It's at around what, 10 degrees and something?
And 1348.
And 1340 something, 48?
48.
So I noticed that the Saturn debilitated, and I figured maybe there's a fall. Saturn was fall. She said, no, he doesn't ride horses, but he is a race car driver. The modern horse, right? The modern fast vehicle Mustang, and so horsepower, right? So, and she says yes, and he's retired because he tended to be a little accident prone. So I thought he'd be dead, actually, by looking at the Saturn. I'm just kind of half joking, but because it is debilitated, right? And it is, all other factors being equal, that doesn't bode well for him.
So are you saying there's like a Gandanta of a nakshatra degree?
In the sense that Ganda means cheek and Anta means at the end of the cheek, so meaning very close to. In that sense, yes. So there is, I don't know how to work. I'm not Tony Robbins, I guess.
The other side. Yes.
Here.
That's it.
Perfect.
Dr. Charak looks so graceful wearing this. He had it figured out. Now I have some of his
Wisdom.
wisdom. I was going to say something else. Some of his wisdom is rubbing off on me. So, right. So typically, if a planet is within, for me, for sports, it has to be within 1 degree of that star. It has to be very, very tight for it to work. But for natal interpretations, I think anywhere from 2.5 degrees, right, to a whole navamsha is on either side. So 3 degrees to one side and 3 degrees to the other counts to confer that nakshatra's qualities. I mean, what's your, have you had experience with this? Not so much. What got me thinking about this is Angelina Jolie's chart, which as Dr. Charak was talking, you know, I kind of looked up her bio, and I noticed that anytime she's had cutting and surgery has been in the Ketu period, in the Vimshotri Dasha. And her Ketu is right at 6 degrees, right? Which is right on the star, right at the Pleiades, which are pictured as scissors in the sky, meaning the cutters.
Very cool.
So literally, the cutter has its effects. And of course, she did self-mutilate, and then when she ran her Venus Ketu period, she had the elective breast surgery and other surgeries. So that's another instance of the nakshatra literally coming to bear. Another instance is, what is Donald Trump's Lagna degree in his Mars? So he's a Leo rising. He has
Mars.
What is Navamsha rising? 7?
Can we open it? It's there inside.
You have it?
I put all paper there in my room. Otherwise.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's see. is in. What's the question?
What is his rising degree?
I have 6.51.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
6.51 for his lugna?
6
For
degrees,
the
51
ascendant
minutes.
and Mars is 3.40.
6.51, so it's about 6, what? Oh, 6:51.
59
Yeah.
minutes. She's saying point, but she means
Third
minutes.
level.
And Mars is what, 8 or 9?
Three.
Oh,
3.4 or
44 minutes.
40.
40, whatever.
So I'm just going to write the degrees here for the marker stars. And some of them are clear and visible, some of them are not, like Botany
26.
is
20.
24 or 26.
26.4.
26.4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're giving the range of which
Yeah,
the
range,
planet
total
should
range,
be in.
13.20.
Because
Total range.
Botany is supposed to look like a yoni, like this,
Mhm.
3 very faint stars. So it depends on which one you take.
60.
So this 26.4 is, the end of Barney. Is that correct? Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
towards the end of Botany. But if, again, it depends on who you take as the authority. So Botany is very faint, but it was perceived to be a downward pointing triangle. So it depends on which of these you take as the main data. So it could be also 24 degrees. Kritika, there's less doubt about, and it's at 6 degrees Taurus. Then Rohini,
1550.
I just put it, I even it out at
Up to
16.
10 degree.
What's that?
And Taurus, Kritika in up to 10 degree.
Is it?
Right, but the actual Pleiades, and the marker star is Alpha, what is it? It's called Alcyon,
Also.
which is the most visible star in the Pleiades. So the idea behind what I've noticed is that when planets are close to this Nakshatra Tara, then they will have the Yoga Tara. Then the meanings of that planet will be emphasized. So we all have planets in Nakshatras, but not all of us have, like Mr. Trump, our Lagna conjunct a major Yoga Tara. So we'll get to his in a second.
Taurus. 16. 29.
So Mrigashira is at about, what, 29,
29.
30, something like that,
Yeah.
of Taurus. And Ardra, 6 degrees Gemini. Punarvasu,
There's 2, right? Castor and Pollux.
yeah. But typically, the one I found to work really well is Pollux. Again, I think Mriga is 29:45, something like that. And this one is 29:30. Punarvasu of Gemini. Pushya Nilima, you remember Pushya?
I have a feeling it's 14 degrees, but I'm not 100% sure.
See, these that are less visible, like Bharani and Pushya, because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But Pushya is supposed to look like a flower arrangement, like a pushpam flower. And again, there may be a range here. I really don't work with this one that much.
So
Pushya.
you gave it,
Translation.
is that 16?
Ashlesha?
For which one?
Yeah,
Translation.
Pushya, I wrote 14.
14.
But I'm not sure. I'm just
Next translation.
So Ashlesha Nilima, what do you have for Ashlesha?
I'm sort of memory.
I gotta look in my book. This is another one that's invisible.
1640.
16.
It starts at 1640.
Yeah, no, we know the range, but for the actual star is, anyway, I was gonna look, I have it in my book. It's,
1820 something.
I think there's 2 stars. One is at 18, one is at 22, something like that. So let's just put 22. And then we come to this big one, Magha,
60, 20.
which is 550 something Leo, so 6 degrees Leo. So these are Cancer. And so there it is. So there we have
Oh, yeah.
someone born with this star literally rising. And if you look at Magha, the star, it's Regulus, which means the little king in Latin. But it's the star that the Sphinx was oriented to when it was built. It's the star that the Egyptians knew all about. It's the star of royalty, the star of inheritance, the star of grand tradition. And Mr. Trump not only has his Lugna there, which makes him feel like he is royalty and he's a grand tradition, but he also has Mars
Pretty close.
close enough, definitely within, right?
Ninth Lord, yeah.
On the
2
Lamsha,
to 3 degrees. You said.
within 2 to 3 degrees, right?
Mhm.
And so Mars ruling the ninth house, we get the theme of royalty and of inheritance played out in his life. I mean, literally, where he inherited a
All that
kingdom
money, yeah.
from his father. And one of the rules of Prashna, as I've learned them, is if someone asks you about a real estate, should I buy a house, and you pull Leo and Magha rising, it's like, yeah, that's a good nakshatra for real estate. And he literally inherited it from his dad, who was also a king of sorts, right? I don't know anything about his dad, but I know that he gave him a few $1 million. And that they own a lot of land in New York. So the point in this is not so much like to teach you anything, but to share with you and to see in your charts, do you have planets that are close to these nakshatra taras? And if so, how are they playing out?
Very interesting. You said that you came upon this with the sports thing. You were looking at sports and you said they've got to be tighter though in sports.
Correct. So if I have a Lugna of 6 degrees or 651 in a match, then for sure that team that the Lugna represents is going to win. Not for sure. There are other things that can go against it, but it's a good start.
So that is the muhurta time for the opening time.
For this, whatever this is.
Yes, it's hard.
What were you doing there? Is that a backhand?
That's a backhand tennis move.
He's going to get back in. All right,
So
so
how do you draw the chart? I mean, what is that chart?
So this is the main drawback in what I do is finding an accurate birth time for a match, a contest. So if someone says, who's going to win in the tennis final, let's say Djokovic is playing. It's very important to have an accurate birth time, because if you're 5 minutes off, now that Lugna that was on Magha is no longer there. And so now you have a problem. So what I like to do is actually watch the start of the game live, note the time and pull the chart, and then make a prediction.
Time for the moment, for the first.
The moment the match begins. So that's one way, because every event is, we human beings are space-time events. We're born in a certain place and time. A match is a space-time event, just like a human being. It has a lifespan and it has a death, right? A birth, lifespan, and an ending. And we can read the story of that life just like we read the story of our lives. Concentrate.
You earlier mentioned about from this star rising point. What leeway you take? How many degrees?
In a Janma Patrika, in a natal chart, you can go, I usually do 2.5 degrees either side.
Both sides, 2.5.
But you can go up to 3, a whole Navamsha to the one side and a whole Navamsha to the other. But that's 6 degrees, 40 minutes total. That's pretty wide.
Pretty wide.
I think 2.5 degrees
Two both
is,
sides, 4 degrees.
I think
better,
that's good. Yeah.
That will be better. Both sides. 2 degrees.
Oh, Advadashamsha, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But it's up to your, like, if you're looking at that planet and it's screaming at you, hey, I'm Kritika, like that Ketu, I was looking at it, wow, every time she runs Ketu, something penetrates her skin. But it's right on that nakshatra. So for natal charts, you can go a little wider. For contest charts, because it's such a brief event, 2 hours usually, or 2 days for a cricket match sometimes, but still brief, then you want to be precise, up to 1 degree. So that's Donald Trump. And, you know, it explains a lot of things, doesn't it? The sense of entitlement. Like, this is my kingdom. Of course, I belong here. All right. Shall we do the rest of them?
Sure. Yes, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
So, Purva.
17.
Phalguni.
I just studied that.
So what is Purva Phalguni? 17,
17. They both are close.
30,
17.
or is it?
13.20 to 26.4.
No, 1730.
So I think it's 1730 or 1740. You know what? Instead of me thinking, let me do this. I'm gonna pull up a PDF copy of my book where I have them actually.
Shall I put the
Is that in
projector
your-
on?
in
You
your-
want me to put the projector on?
No, let's keep working on the board here.
This is in your new book?
This is in my new book, Gambler's Dharma, and I swear this isn't a ploy to get you to buy the book. It's that I actually, some of the nakshatras that I don't work with a lot, like Pushya, the ones that don't have very visible stars, I hatefully admit that I'm uncertain about their taras. So let's see.
Martha Graham is Rohini rising 15 degrees, 16 degrees.
Who is Martha Graham? Who is she?
The dancer. Dancer
Beautiful.
70 years, yeah.
So here we go, 1730, Leo, right? So,
Incidentally, I have my moon at exactly 1733.
Wow.
do you like to have fun? Are you a fun-loving guy?
He has
I've
to.
become a very loner now.
Which means what?
I mean, I just
Domestic, more.
everything. I just like to stay alone
Huh?
and that way.
Has it always been that way?
Always internally, I have been like that. Even if I, in earlier days, if I used to party around or
Mhm.
so on, but still I was always a thinker.
Yeah.
And always very nostalgic and would prefer being alone.
Mhm.
Comfortable with yourself.
So what are some of the meanings of Purva Phalguni?
Arts,
The arts, certainly creative,
creativity.
creativity,
But I was in the art industry,
art industry, okay.
movie industry, television.
That's the next thing, is a lot of actors have this, and people involved in media. What else? Who is the deity of Purva Phalguni?
There have been two
Bhaga?
Yeah, Bhaga is the main one.
Bhaga?
Bhaga, but before that there was Aryaman. Somewhere in the history of Vedic this thing, the deity changed. Yeah.
Well, we still take Aryaman as the deity for Uttara Phalguni.
Right.
So
They switched back and forth.
In the written literature available, said some point of time they should take one, then suddenly there was a change.
They're brothers. They work together anyway, usually.
So it's
No,
not,
I
it is
mean normally
beyond
such
the range,
written
right?
literature does not change.
Right. No,
Astrology.
I understand.
So it's beyond the range of the nakshatra.
well, Uttara Phalguni is the Tara is 2745.
27.5. So
Yeah, so that's
that works. Yeah.
that's in range. So right, so these qualities will become evinced in you. So even if you wanted to get out of media, out of that sort of entertainment business, it'll still come and find you and knock on you.
Yeah, actually, that's what happened. I left it when my child was born. I said I'll completely leave the industry, and I left it within 3 months of his being born.
Mhm.
And eventually, since I was already doing the magazine, so it kind of became media. But now the magazine's become a YouTube channel.
Mhm.
So it's again become television. And now earlier I was a director, so I was behind the camera. Now I'm in front of the camera.
Awesome.
But I gotta
But
tell
the
you,
camera is there.
when you have this, there is something special. There's a shakti, there's a glint that when people see it, they go, "Oh, I want to watch this. This is cool." Versus, right, if some of us who don't have this go on, And people go, oh, okay, and we have 33 hits versus 33,000 hits, right? There is something about this, just like there's something about the Magha that people feel he will take care of us. And the rest of the world goes, he's nuts. But there are people who see the Magha and go, this is a king and he's gonna take care of us.
True.
So placements, and notice that we didn't ask what Sunil, what planet you have here. It's just that the meanings of this nakshatra will
Spring out.
will become emboldened,
I have my son in Phoenix.
particularly if you're running that period. Okay, then we come to Hasta,
Son, so,
which there is some debate about, and which part of Virgo this Hasta marker star is. And I think the latest, and I concur with this, is that it's at 15 degrees Virgo, which is the star called Vindhyatrix in Latin. Now, before I worked with 10 degrees, I worked with 20 degrees, but this star of Vindhyatrix seems to bear out. And Western or ancient astrologers used to call this star the Widowmaker, because it gives a propensity, when planets are very close to it, to relationship difficulties. And Hasta, if you're familiar with some of the meanings of Hasta, it does give an angelic, cherubic kind of nature, like a childlike, cheeky nature. And children aren't skilled necessarily at relationships. They have to work at it. So people with placements, let's say the 7th cusp of your chart is here, or the ruler of your 7th house is here. It's not a death sentence, but it means that there's an innocence about your attitude towards relationships that can be taken advantage of, right? Does anyone have something close?
I just opened the horoscope. I knew he might have, I just guessed it. It is a Mesha Lagna, and he's got Mars retrograde in Hasta.
in 6th house.
In 6th house. And he's been, like his first marriage, he was, as you just said, taken for a ride. Exactly like that. And it ended up in divorce.
And how many degrees is it?
It is 14.34.
Very
There it
close.
is.
Right
Yeah,
now.
that's the reason.
Very
So he
interesting.
himself
Amazing.
is this Hasta character who is, and it's like, there's issues, there's problems, and it's exacerbated by the fact that it's the 6th house, of course. But
So that's Mars in the Mars.
Retrograde Mars.
Retro. So Lagna Lord. I see.
okay, so wonderful example. And so just remember this 15 degrees Virgo and test it for yourself. See if it works. Okay. And then we have the Chitra.
30 degrees
Yeah.
Virgo.
Basically, yeah, 30 degrees Virgo or 0 degrees Libra.
Does anybody have K. Rao's horoscope? I think he has a
The
planet in
Libra
Chitra.
Lagna, yeah.
Ashleisha he has, but
Oh, this is
I have it on my computer. It's in my room.
K. Rao, I think he has. I'm just opening up his horoscope.
I'm sorry, I don't know about it.
So update, so for Pushya, we have about 14 or 15 degrees Cancer, so this is correct.
Okay.
And for, and Ardha is 5 Gemini, sorry, it's 5
5
Gemini. That's my mistake. And then Ashleisha, we have 2. We have one at 18 and one at 20. Yep, 2040. So either 18, and these are as per heart. I have
Yeah, that's okay.
a 1 in 2040.
He's got 3 planets in Chitra, but one at 2 degree, one at 3 degree, and another at 24 degree.
In Libra.
Kendra.
In Libra. Oh,
Well, the ones at 2 and 3 are close enough, right? Because that's at 0 degrees Libra.
Yeah. So it comes another 2 degree
Yeah,
You want to know which planet?
this is Ken Rao.
Ken Rouse. And the one at
I'm silent.
2 degree is Moon, and Venus is at 3 degree.
Mhm.
It's 3.55.
So I would say that's
Moon, but
the
Moon
moon
is,
definitely.
yeah, I mean,
And what house does the moon rule in his horoscope?
10th house,
Ten.
The 10th house of career.
dispositor of exalted Jupiter.
So is he a
Ken Rao,
jewel in his in
Yeah.
the sky?
Emperor.
It's only cluster jewels, no
Has
flash.
he been the architect of systems and has he created
Vishwakarma.
Building
schools
things,
and
yeah.
buildings?
Yeah, exactly. He created the largest
He did?
school of astrology.
Our thing is about, yeah.
So right as part of his
Yeah, you obviously know Ken Rao.
I know, yeah, I know Ken. I've been to his apartment actually.
Okay.
But I
He's a
wasn't
good actor.
no, but I wasn't aware of some of his accomplishments.
Oh no, he's created the largest school of astrology, and as the architect of that school, he also, you said systems.
Yeah.
He created a systematic, the PAC and all that. He
Yeah,
created
right.
the way to look at a horoscope.
So this is what we Chitra. My moon's in Chitra too, but not that close.
Okay.
Actually, no, it is. Mine's at 27. So, but we like to create systems. So I know this from personal experience.
Nice.
But his is the ruler of the 10th house, which
Mm.
means he will be a
Career.
jewel. In
Yeah.
Chitra means jewel, right?
Mm.
And also, he created this replicable method of statistical astrology.
Analysis.
Replicable method,
Started
applying it,
emphasizing
same
research.
step 1, step 2, step 3. He
Right.
emphasized on that. So he's been quite an architect on that.
When I was at his place, we brought a bunch of cameras because at the time I was going to do a documentary for Jyotish. And he brought a bunch of his students there. And he said, don't interview me, interview them.
Oh.
And so we interviewed him a little bit, but then he put the emphasis on his students. And he wanted to show how they were predicting to the day when the baby would be
That's
born.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Mom's
That's what I
pregnant.
heard.
She wants to know, when will I give birth? Doctor
Unbelievable.
gives a range. Jyotish gives the day. And he said the good ones do it within a 4-hour window.
Oh, God.
Wow.
It's there in his book, no? Your Children and Karma.
Oh, I have to get that book.
And I haven't delved in because it's jiming. And this is my first introduction to jiming here. So maybe in the future. But there you go, Chitra, the bright shining jewel.
Mhm.
And directly opposite of 0 degrees Aries, which is why the Chitra Paksha Namsha is there, because it's
I never knew.
right 0 degrees Aries is opposite of the
Opposite.
star. And you can't, so when you look at the star, right, when you can see the star 0 degrees Aries, or when it's
Opposite.
rising, it's right
On
opposite
the
of
bottom
rising.
horizon.
All right, so then we come to Swati, which is what, where? This is a tough one.
It's a tough one, I don't remember.
So there's 2 options. With Swati, you can, because the nakshatra itself is Swati, going beyond your own.
No.
Your Swa are your relatives, your people, your family. Ati means to go beyond, right?
Mhm.
So these Swati people, very independent, want to do new things, break new ground, go beyond what their parents could do. And so in one sense, there's no star here. But in another, at about 0 or 1 degrees, let's say 1 degree Libra, is the star Arcturus.
Mhm.
The problem with Arcturus, it is very bright. It's brighter than Chitra,
Mhm.
but it's very far north. It's not on the where the planets
Ecliptic.
path. It's not on the ecliptic where the planets go. So no planet will ever touch Arcturus, but it could still be at the same longitude. So Swati at 0 or 1 degrees Libra, some people take Arcturus. Very, very bright star. Maybe if you Google it, it'll tell you how much bigger that is than the sun. It's a super red giant, like maybe 100 times bigger than our sun. Okay.
So Swati is not in the range of its nakshatra.
How can it be 1 degree?
Right. When Chitra is there.
Yeah.
Well, and the range is
640.
20.
640 to 29.
like I said, some of them are out of there,
Oh,
which is why we have a line here that if you choose to, you can say there's no marker star for Swati. And that sort of fits its meanings, going beyond your the limitations. Swati is ruled by Vayu, the wind, and where the wind scatters you, you go.
I was just checking Mahatma Gandhi's horoscope. He's got his Lagna somewhere at 12 degree, but that is not a sure thing. Even many scholars don't believe his time of birth for the Lagna. And another planet in Swati, but 12 and 13 degree.
Okay. I thought he was Chitra rising.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
No,
planet is
he's a
Swati.
Libra rising.
But something in Chitra.
no, see, this is Libra rising,
Oh, Libra rising, okay.
and he's got his Lagna degree
Venus.
in Swati, second pada, and he's got his Mercury in Swati. I got this time from K.N. Rao.
Okay.
He said it's a bit doubtful, but he's worked closer to this
Yeah.
for the Rashi chart.
Good enough for me. Okay, so Vishakha, this is one I've worked with at 21 Libra, which is within the Nakshatra span, just barely. So anyone have planets or know people who have planets that close?
21.
You have.
I'm 23.
Which grahas?
Libra. 21, 51, 21, 50. Libra.
So which planet is it that you have there?
Saturn.
Saturn. So Vishakha, what I found in Vishakha people particularly is that there's ambition early in life. They rise up high on the corporate ladder, and at some point, Vishakha, the branch, goes a different direction, and you quit it, and you go in a completely different way. Has that been your experience, or are you still?
In a technical line, yes. I'm working in the chemical industries. Now when I came to Canada, I studied pharmaceutical at the age of 52, and then I'm working in a pharmacy.
So you went
Totally
completely different direction.
Chemical and pharmacy, totally
That
different.
it wore you, but you went high.
High.
You achieved great status
Yes,
because
degrees there.
the deities are Indra and Agni. Indra is the chief of, right? Thor, if you take the Western.
Two planets.
And Agni is also big.
Same position, two planets, Venus and Saturn.
Venus and Saturn. Okay.
Yeah.
So
22
did your
22.
wife also have a similar trajectory? Did your
Sorry?
wife?
Yeah.
She did the same thing?
Well, it depends on what Venus rules in your chart, but as a general indicator of relationships, does what Venus rules in your chart, that they also have that kind of trajectory?
Is it Taurus Lagna?
Taurus Lagna and 6th house,
So it
Tula.
rules you. Okay.
Libra, there is Saturn and Venus both together in the same degree.
Okay.
So Venus becomes your sixth lord.
Yeah.
So in a way, in his job or profession, he's kind of.
Well, we can talk about relationships also, but
Relationship also, she is there the beautician. Now she is not doing anything. She work in a pharmacy.
so she left that too.
Now came here and
But understand that this is part of your dharma. This is the right path.
Yeah.
You were supposed to leave it. So sometimes people have regret. Oh gosh, I was making good money. Yeah, I was unhappy, but why did I leave? And you look, you're supposed to experience this. There she is.
I have my Saturn 10th Lord in 23 degrees. Libra.
So also there,
same degree.
again, means very high achievement, success in the professional life, and at some point you achieve everything you want to achieve and you leave. Now you may not be there. I don't know.
I mean, I'm an astrologer. Now I'm I'm not practicing astrology, but I study a
You're
lot of
doing
astrology.
the second line.
Classમાં busy છું પછી વાત કરું.
And it is possible to walk both branches, especially if they're close together, and you can kind of walk them both until they start to. But so Vishakha, very good. By the way, Vishakha rules through Vishakha passes the way of poison, the via combusta, which in Western astrology is used a lot, but there's The Via Combusta is a part of the sky through most of Libra and Scorpio that is associated with poison and toxicity. And there's three things you can say about it. People with placements in Anuradha, for example, the next nakshatra, will tend to have a raspy voice, like a kind of interesting voice. But people also may work with poisons.
I do work with poisons all the time. I put people to sleep. Drugs.
For their benefit.
For their
the
benefit,
good,
yeah.
right? So that's another interesting thing.
And
about
interesting, I
this
never thought of that. That's a good point.
nakshatra.
Yeah.
Astrology enter in this?
What's that?
Astrology enter
Where?
in new subject.
I didn't get the meaning. So,
Diversifications.
Never
Forget
think-
chemical, forget pharmacy, now astrology starts.
now astrology starts. Third branch. You got it. Yeah, well, you have two planets there. So, okay, so Vishaka, then we have
Anuradha.
Anuradha. Okay, how many degrees?
We'll finish, but I don't remember.
About 14, yeah. Let me see. See, again, this is one where it's uncertain. I have 10 degrees.
Yeah, 10.
Also, you can do 14 degrees, but see, 14 is getting close to the other one.
Oh,
So this one is not, it depends on which star you pick. So this one is not too sure. I have 8 degrees and 10 degrees.
8 and 10, that makes much more sense.
So let's just give all the options.
No, it's not 14, it's 8 and 10.
Is it 8 and 10?
8 and 10.
Not 14.
You have 14, Marcy?
No, not 14.
Yeah, do you have
I
an
don't
eraser?
I have 14.
Yeah.
Sun.
Yeah. No, 14. 8 and 10.
All right, so that's Anuradha, and then Jyeshta.
27 Scorpio.
Jyeshta
It's
should be right opposite Rohini.
so 16.
At 16 Scorpio,
Mhm.
another Ugra Nakshatra.
Mhm.
So Jyeshta is at 16.
Mhm.
And notice that they're directly opposite of each other,
Mhm.
Rohini and Jyeshta. Antares and Aldebaran.
Mhm.
So anybody with 16 degrees Scorpio prominent? Or that you know? You asked them, were you the eldest in your family? Or were you the one who had the most responsibility growing up? Because Jyeshta means the eldest, the one with the responsibility. The one who will bury or burn or cremate the father, right? The parents. That's responsibility. So metaphorically speaking, that's what these people have. Then,
Mula.
one of my favorites is Mula. Where's Mula's?
Looks a Scorpio.
I have a new theory on Mula. So Mula is in Sagittarius 0 to 1320, that's the whole nakshatra. But the Galactic Center, the black hole at the center of the galaxy, happens to be at 3 degrees Sagittarius.
We were just talking about this at dinner.
Yeah.
I spent 20 or 30 minutes talking with Nikhil and Rakesh about Mula, the center of the galaxy, the pyramids, when it was a supercontinent, before it all broke off, the center of that supercontinent was the pyramids. And we were just talking about Ayanamshas and Mula and the center of the galactic, and is
There we
Sri
go.
Mahashai really accurate? And we were speaking somewhat blasphemously, actually. It was fun.
So Mula, it means root. It means that which
Right.
is deep, deep
Yeah.
underground where the sun don't shine. And in a sense, the black hole at the center of our galaxy is the root of why we're here. It's the organizing principle around which everything else revolves. And people who have Mula prominent, now this isn't the only Yoga Tara proposed for Mula. Some people say there's no Yoga Tara. Other people say it's 28 or 29 degrees Scorpio. That's the star Shaula. But I think this is also a good candidate. That's based on my research.
Do you use that with your sports contests and so forth?
Yeah, teams just kind of fall in quicksand when it's like you're being sucked in. But people who have placements here are deep. They're able to go deep and find the organizing principle behind, if you're a physicist, you want moolah. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you want moolah.
I learned a lot in 3 degree in Sagittarius.
You are the embodiment of moolah. So
Yes.
tell us, so do you garden?
What's it?
Do you garden? Do you grow plants?
Thanks.
No.
Two of his guys I see Mr. Gurumurthy.
Uh-huh.
He invented one GMP systems
Uh-huh.
that I completely established the entire community.
Okay, so that's your garden that you
That is
planted
my-
the seeds.
Growing.
Already I was trying to sing in cinefield, but I didn't get it
Yeah.
because my the Sukra in Ketu star, Moola star,
Uh-huh.
I won't allow for cinefield.
I won't allow for what?
Well, your
But
dharma
anyway-
takes you where it takes you, right? So you're meant to do something a little bit different. Not this stuff. You want to trade?
But I invented one medical vastu concept. Through
Beautiful.
vastu I will do any disease I will clear it. Any
Wow.
type of any disease, cancer it is,
I want to hire you.
childless also, any case, anything else.
No, I'm
Initially,
serious.
it would be any disease I will clear it.
Because the breakthroughs that come from Moolah are real breakthroughs. Dr. Martin Luther King had his ruler of his 10th house in Moolah. His career, through his life, he created real change in the world. People with Moolah, instead of entertaining, which makes you feel good for 5 minutes, you create real change, which changes the world forever. So it's not fun, but it's also profound.
Today's lecture, the break in the lecture.
Yeah.
Okay. So he had written it earlier, as per Prashna, what time it will break.
12:31.
3:31.
12:30.
12:31. And as soon as he announced, okay, in 1 second he came and he showed me that paper and the Prashna chart. Okay, show that.
Exact time.
Exact
Wow.
time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want to learn that.
Me
That
too.
is the method. Yeah.
That is the.
So I spoke with Guru Murthy. So
And he had also written
yeah.
9:16. Guru Murthy showed me 9:16 the program will start, and it was supposed to start at 9:30.
Right.
And then he wrote that there will be delays. Okay, there was the audio problem, technical all problems and all that. And 11 by 11:20 or something, it will be fairly okay.
Now I feel
And
like
he said 16 people will be present today in this hall.
16. Yeah, I saw it.
16
I
people
saw
will
it.
be present today in this hall.
How did he know
He got the people and the time that class would start, 9:46, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, 9:16 he had written. He showed me that.
Unbelievable.
They are going to teach us again. Yeah.
And here I am. So I'm running Saturn. Saturn right now is in Moolah, very close. And I'm trying to figure out which horse is going to win. I'm thinking, oh my God, these people are doing something important with their lives. I'm trying to pick the horses. Great. So the point is research, amazing. So thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Very nice.
So I think 3 degrees is a good candidate. Now, 6 degrees is where the actual Milky Way passes through the ecliptic at 6 degrees. So if you look up at the sky, so if this is the path of the planets, the ecliptic, let's say E, the Milky Way goes like this. Let's call it M. The point where it intersects is at 6 degrees. The opposite point is in Gemini
I don't know.
in Ardha Nakshatra. Both of these are dreadful, Ugra Tikshna Nakshatras. Partly because this Milky Way was seen as, at least now I'm hopping traditions, but in the Americas, as the path to Shivalva, to the underworld, the dark rift, and so to speak. But there is something to be said for that, since both Mula and Ardra are fierce nakshatras that do with, to go underground, you got to have some guts.
Is that the galactic plane?
Correct.
We were discussing that at dinner.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
it.
All right. So this is also a significant degree. And we might as well put, what, 2845 Scorpio.
Yes.
So these are your options for Mula. You judge
Can I see
accordingly.
this? You can see it like first one, second one. At that time, Rahu was in Agra and Mula. And 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah. Because this same thing.
But it was at that degree itself?
Yeah, same thing.
Where?
No,
At 3 degrees?
At 6 degree or?
60, yeah.
6
So you
degrees.
can
So
check it, check this now. Okay. We can go and check it.
they picked a good day.
And 2019, the same Adha and Mula will Rahu and Ketu will come. Second World War, 9/11 and 19, yeah.
Well, the way
He's telling same nakshatra,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
reversal,
Yeah.
and Rahu Ketu, and the degree you're sure about the degree?
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah, yeah.
I can check it.
No, we've looked. I remember we've looked at the 9/11 chart,
We
and
did.
for a terrorist activity,
That
it's the
is
perfect chart.
See, what's the Saturn in Rohini? I think
Not
Saturn.
Saturn. No, Rahu and Ketu I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, but
The-
still,
Rahu, Ketu, and there's
Excess, yeah.
more. There's Mars was in
Yeah,
there as well.
then another Mars they join together.
Yeah.
9/11.
Well,
Saturn.
Let's see if politically, if the American, if this guy
Yeah.
keeps antagonizing Iran and
Oh,
North
yeah.
Korea, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Nature of thing, 19.
Ui.
Let's not think about that.
2019. January forward, this thing is
That means leave San Diego.
No, Hawaii. North Korea will bomb up
So
my island.
Purva Shada, we have these two are. I don't work with a lot. I have 10 degrees 40. Nilima, what do you have?
I just studied recently, but I don't remember that.
Okay, and for Uttara, I have about 19 degrees.
19 Sag, all Sag.
But one that I really like here,
So Purvashada is not in the range then, right? It's before the.
Purva is not. It's in what should be Mula.
Okay.
But here is one that I really like, especially for sports.
Shravana.
It's actually Abhijit.
Abhijit, yeah, 640 to 10, that I know.
I am in Abhijit.
You're in
Moon
Abhijit.
is Abhijit.
But you'll be surprised at the degree I'll give you for Abhijit, which is 2130 of Sagittarius.
Oh, really?
No.
The star Vega.
Vega,
Oh,
the triangle.
Vega is the liar. Yeah, it's a very bright star.
Mm.
And
So 2130 Sag is.
Sagittarius.
So why do I
Not
remember
the-
6?
not
Capricorn.
Capricorn. So this is what I take as the star. And look, this is, I say I take
I
because
remember 640 to 10.
this is my
yeah,
research.
Nikon
But
10.
Not
this
After 10. Abhijit.
planets close to this longitude tend to exert. Dennis Rodman, I don't know if you guys follow
yeah, the
basketball.
basketball, yeah. Bulls.
He was the famous sixth man who drove his teams to victory. He won 6 championships. Abhijit means
Victory.
victory, undefeated, undefeatable,
No defeat.
victorious,
Always victorious.
or always victorious. But it's also the surplus 28th nakshatra,
Yeah.
the one that's on the bench.
Mm.
But sometimes we use it.
Bring it. Promote,
Like
right?
Dennis Rodman, he has this degree rising.
Oh, really?
So he was the 6th man who, took his team to
So,
victory.
suppose you have a 20-degree Sag rising, it could be close to Uttarashada and Abhijit, right?
Correct, and this is why, anyway, they're both victory, right?
I
It all
see.
has to do with pump.
I think Obama has that. in his
No,
chart.
he's a Capricorn. Right?
He's a Capricorn. So then Shravana, so let's go through the rest of these.
Can I give you feedback on Mula?
Yeah, please.
Oh, 1 second, yeah. I got one chart. This man has Neptune retrograde at 3.25 degree Mula
Neptune retrograde at 3.5 degrees Mula, yeah.
and is a Mesh Lagna, and
Mhm.
Neptune is in the 9th house.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. His father was a chronic alcoholic.
Sure.
His guru also a chronic
Oh
alcoholic.
my heavens.
Also the guru. What about him?
He
He's okay.
used to be
Guru is
like in his college days, and then he got sick, double or triple jaundice, and he left it. He
So-
left drinking completely. but he shifted to Coke, Pepsi.
Mhm.
Like morning, get up, first thing is Coke.
Yeah.
No
then you're drunk.
breakfast, nothing. And same with his father and Guru. Because Neptune is alcoholism and all that.
Neptune,
You know?
right? Rules.
And ninth house is father, ninth house is Guru.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, so that
And eventually his father died kind of because of the side effects of probably the affected the brain.
and I think maybe it made them feel like they were going into a deeper spiritual state, like that was maybe their justification.
Yeah, I met his father, and you know, he was serving sick people
Mhm.
out of his not earning any money. He used to give them
There's some
daily
nobility
free,
there. Yeah.
daily. He was a doctor,
Uh-huh.
okay, and daily free medicines he would give. Do the
And yet he was poisoning himself.
yeah,
Amazing.
but he had like a very great. I used to have great spiritual discussions with him. You know, he was very practical spiritually. He said no show off of bhakti and all that.
Interesting.
You know, he used to say, "My Krishna will take care." You know,
Yeah, so Neptune rules drugs, addiction, and in his case, unfortunately, in Mula, it's sort of, you could say, a type of Drita karma, where it's just,
really take you
Mula
down.
just kind of anchors it in there, makes it harder to get rid of. Okay, so
and for dogs, do you take, or what do you all take? Ketu or Rahu? For dogs?
That's
I usually use Mars for dogs, actually.
Oh, okay, some
I like
people take
for
Ketu.
dogs, yeah.
Okay, too, I've heard that.
And his Ketu is with Neptune. And when his dog died, his father died.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. And that Ketu is the ninth house.
Ninth house.
Wow.
Amazing.
Very interesting.
There is a gap of, I think, 4 months or 6 months, something like that. Something like
But
that.
the same year. as
Yeah,
well.
or 2 months, something like that. Or 4 months, something like that.
Interesting.
Do you use K2 for dogs? Yeah.
Most people do use Ketu.
Okay.
There are some who, in India, some who use Rahu. But normally, people use
Isn't Mercury for pets or no?
Sixth house is pet smaller than a goat, than a
Cow.
yeah, no, than a goat,
Than a
and then
goat.
anything larger than a goat is supposed to be 12th house. But so sixth lord, and I use K2 because the upaya for K2 is feed spotted dogs or stray dogs, so it makes sense. So anyone with Shravana, 8 degrees Capricorn, is the star Altair, which is a beautiful, beautiful star. Altair.
What is
the
Obama's
eagle.
rising?
I'm not sure.
Obama.
My 10 degrees.
I know, but degree.
Degree?
Someone 10 degree.
Barack
So-
Obama, right?
Yeah.
How did you do well in your studies? Did you perform high studies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Shravana has to do with
Yeah.
learning, education. Also, what planet is there at 8 degrees?
Moon.
Moon. So this wouldn't apply
He's got
so much. but,
26 Capricorn.
Oh, so
Dhanishta.
What house does Moon rule in
it's
your chart?
probably
He's sitting in 9th house, ruling 3rd house.
Have you had like hip pain? Have you had Shravana can also affect the hip and create a limp, but Moon, in your case, it wouldn't do it. But how do you do with dairy?
Sciatica pain is there little.
Psychic pain.
Sciatica.
Sciatic.
Oh, sciatic.
Sciatica.
I thought you said
That is there.
sciatic pain is there,
That is there.
but not enough to make you limp. No. How do you do with milk? Do you drink milk? Milk is okay, no problem. Okay, good.
Stomach wise.
Because sometimes Shravana, if you have malefics influencing Ketu or any combination of the surgery planets, this is as per Dr. Charak,
Oh.
Saturn, Ketu, Sun, or Mars. Any 2 or more of these in a house or influencing a house will tend to create surgery. This is in Dr. Charak's book. But
2 or more.
2 or more, at least 2. But three, it's more certain, and all four, it's happening.
So
Get
that
ready.
means, does that mean the person will get surgery or person will perform surgery?
They'll get surgery to the
surgery.
area where they sit. But if Shravana is involved, it can involve the hip. But you have moon there, so it's okay. Okay? So Shravana and Dhanishta. Dhanishta is at what, 24? 24 Capricorn. Or 22-30 Capricorn. There's two
So,
stars.
Obama,
But that's 26 or
when is it close?
close.
Or
Too big.
22.
Barack Obama.
How much is Obama?
26. I'll just check.
26 Capricorn.
So both 24 and 22.
Yeah,
Okay.
24 and 22-30.
He's 26. He's 26. Barack Obama.
So definitely within range.
Yeah.
So the Nishta is the drum, right? So there is a
Music.
an enjoyment
Rhythm.
of music and rhythm. Dhana Ishta, wanting wealth, ambition, desiring, right? Craving, power, ambition. And the Nishta also gives a little bit of, now he doesn't display this at all, but it can give a little bit of a problem with relationship, right?
Marital discord.
Marital discord.
This is my 40.
I don't know. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, now it is.
It is?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was a bit too far.
All right.
But also Dhanishta, what I've observed, any planet well disposed it should be in Dhanishta. Then it's like a ceremony of winning something and all that. And now if you correlate with Barack Obama's this thing, when he became the first black president of USA, it was like nobody could believe it.
Yeah.
That it finally happened.
Right,
So it's
true.
like ceremony, the Dhanishta.
Yeah, the
drums,
drum. Sure.
The drum roll, you know,
Sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
Big.
Big
Big
deal.
celebration.
And
Yeah.
he's been, I think, one of the best presidents in recent times in terms of non-controversial, no scandal or anything. So the drums haven't stopped rolling in a way.
Well, when you think about how far they had to dig to find something, they had to go to his birth certificate, and they hung on to that thing for 2 years trying to find something. You know, they tried everything else, and
To
that's
put
all
him
they
down.
could get.
Yeah, well, he stood for himself.
And then when you look at this guy that we have now, I mean, it's the exact opposite. You don't know where to look.
Yeah.
But so many people predicted Hillary to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, who has the correct birth time also?
That's true.
How
You
many
know,
birth
the
times
chart
do
you should have looked at is Mike Pence and what was Hillary's running mate? See,
wow.
we don't know his name.
Yeah.
Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine.
Timothy.
Now, if his chart showed a rise, then Hillary.
That's
would
true.
win.
Yeah.
But if his chart was,
One of the comments made last year was when you have Rahu Ketu transiting 1/7 axis, things won't fructify.
I have observed Rahu Ketu in 1/7 axis. It depends on where the dispositor goes and how traditionally in your natal horoscope whether Rahu Ketu are positive enough or negative enough, and then the dispositor of the signs where it is. But Rahu Ketu in 1/7 axis, 100% life will change.
oh yeah.
The problem is, it will change for the better or for the bad. That's the dispositor, etc. Even our current president, Donald
That's what I
Trump,
mean, yeah.
he's got 3 horoscopes. With if you see in one Dashamsha, it goes in the 12th house, retrograde, debilitated, I think so.
Mars,
In another, no, Jupiter.
Jupiter.
And in another Dashamsha, it is 4th house.
Oh,
So 4th house of throne.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
probably more accurate.
And so which one to take? Because we did the interview with several, Edith Hathaway
Yes.
and
I heard that.
you
Yeah.
know, the thing. So which one to take? We don't know.
But then when they said, because Rahu Ketu was transiting 1/7 for him, so one of the speakers last year said that chances are very low because we have Rahu Ketu. And
Every speaker said the chance is very low.
exactly.
We were all
You
drinking
were here,
from
you were here,
some
yeah.
strange,
The only except that,
toxic.
that guy,
Gary Gomes did predict correctly. Gary Gomes.
Gary Gomes.
Yeah. We
The-
did an interview with him.
Saiba, what was his name? From Latvia he came.
Oh, yeah, from
Shiva Baba.
Lithuania.
Shiva. He was the only one who said Trump will win.
He
Yeah.
said Trump will win.
Yeah.
The one who came here last year.
Correct.
Yes, I know. This
Yeah.
is
He was the
from
one,
that
everybody
day.
were, I mean, everybody were kind of not
I
laughing.
think a
but
lot of Jyotishis didn't have the courage to say.
But at the
Confident.
same time, it's too biased. You know, I've noticed any elections,
It's tough.
all Jyotishis, 95% of astrologers, 99% in fact, they get biased with what they like or what they don't like.
True.
And by what people around them are saying.
Well, the key thing is most students of this discipline are very left. They're very liberal.
Mhm.
And clearly, there's a bias they don't even see.
It's
from that
hard.
perspective.
I've seen speakers who are very popular. I mean, I don't want to name them. They go to one Jyotish conference. You said fear of speaking. One Jyotish conference, okay, and they say Donald Trump will win. Okay, or sorry, Hillary will win. And the next Jyotish conference,
Trump will win.
So you,
So they have it right.
it
So
is
they were
on
right.
record. I don't want to name it. It is on record.
It's funny.
or it could be that they've changed their mind in the interim.
No,
No.
they just said, I was scared if I say it.
Oh.
They went on record to say it. I was scared if I say it in the previous conference. I might be.
They might make,
But
yeah.
you know, the thing about
But come on, I mean, if I say the worst human being is going to become the president, nobody's going to kill me.
Who cares? Exactly.
They may not believe you, but
Everyone frowns at you.
It's funny.
But honestly speaking, you know, it's also for an astrologer, is the fear factor that comes in.
Sure.
If he commits a mistake, he's going to be ridiculed.
especially by the lay people who are not
Yeah,
astrologers, because it gives them more
No,
fuel to
trust
say
me,
this is
I've
bull.
seen on YouTube, Simon, the people who follow astrology, okay, who go to astrologers, okay. In some of our videos, we had some people say Hillary will win. Oh man, they almost molested us. I mean, I was like, man, come on, yeah. She made a wrong prediction. It's okay.
It's no big
Yeah.
deal. Exactly.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Don't we make mistakes in life as if the man who is, you know, criticizing is never going to make a mistake in his whole life. He's
When-
never going to take a wrong turn and come and do a U-turn. Come on, we all
It's the
drive.
astrologer's curse too, the legend.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's possible, you know, because sometimes we look at only 20 factors and the 21st factor would have been the turning point
True.
and we missed it. And how much knowledge has come out? What do we do to bring the knowledge out so that we don't make mistakes?
I think a lot of it is also what you were saying, Roy, is that we're affected by public opinion. I've looked at charts for a game, something totally different, going, oh my gosh, the underdog is going to win. But everyone says, no way, no one's going to beat Golden State. It's impossible. And I say, all right, yeah, they'll probably win. And the underdog wins. I'm like, I should have stuck to because we're influenced by consensus opinions. All right, so
Danish, you got 24 and
we got the
20,
Nishta, Shatabisha, 18 degrees, roughly Aquarius. Anyone?
17, 40. No, I'm not thinking Aquarius.
1740 Aquarius. The unveiler of secrets. The one who, the code breaker, the inside man who breaks big tobacco's secrets, who unveils the truth. This is a big theme for Shatabisha. Cloaks and veils. Then Purva Bhadrapada at the end of Aquarius, 2930. And then Uttara at 15 Pisces.
Okay, I got a chart.
Mm-hmm.
Uttra Bhadrapada, 16.24.
Can they make it rain? One of the lesser known qualities of this Bhadrapada is, yes, they have a great eye for design, for visual aesthetics. They have a great eye for directing and even movies, that kind of stuff. But there is something in the Shastra, I don't know where I've read it, that says this person can bring the power of the rain.
Oh, wow.
my mood is Netra Bhadrapada.
Yeah?
On my mood, but it's
Have
only
you ever
4
worked with the weather? No. Okay. Something new to try. I've always wanted to ask that because
It's interesting.
who do you ask? But do you have an eye for design, for visual how things fit together visually, either graphically or
Yes.
yeah.
Basically, I'm an artist.
You're an artist yourself. Yeah. Also,
And sing, and you're singing too.
So how do Uttarabhadra and rain come?
and drawing. Yeah. Good idea.
Whistling also I will do songs.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one quality of the Uttarabhadra is the very strong visual sense. Who is it? Francis Ford Coppola, I think, has something there. And big directors have this. Expose, sometimes fashion, which you wouldn't think, but from such a fierce nakshatra.
That's what I mean.
Actually, so the associations we usually have on it. It's not a fierce nakshatra. So what is this person with?
He's got Mercury in Uttarabhadrapada, but it's Mesh Lagna.
There's a lot of music.
Mesh Lagna, so it's in his 12th house. So is he interested in foreign tabloids, stuff like that? Foreign newspapers, reading like exposés.
He always is probably watching movies.
Movies. Okay.
Foreign movies.
Yeah.
Foreign movies or
Yes, so 6.
He subscribed to all those websites,
HBO.
where you pay monthly and you can watch unlimited movies.
Netflix.
But Mercury is his third lord, and he's addicted to gizmos.
I love that.
I mean, he buys a phone. After 3 months, he will exchange that phone for a better, newer phone, latest one.
I love that word though. I never thought that's one phrase I never thought I would have heard. Addicted to gizmos. That just sounds, there's a certain
Scientific.
I love the way that sounds.
But so his Mercury is debilitated. Okay.
And retrograde.
And
No, not retrograde. Sorry, combust.
combust.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then Revati, sweet Revati at 26 Pisces. I'm not sure what the Western name for that star is, but
Really.
this part of the sky doesn't have like the big, big taras like Aldebaran, Betelgeuse. You got your Magga, your Regulus, these giant stars. This part is a little more quiet.
There's Altair and Vega.
Altair and Vega, yeah. Altair for Shravana is a very bright, beautiful star.
Nice, very nice.
So those were some of my thoughts and findings.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
I've seen hundreds of lectures on nakshatras, on YouTube and this.
Yeah.
This beats it.
Oh, that's
This
nice.
beats it. I'm going to be uploading this right now on YouTube. Right now, in fact, I could have gone live on YouTube.
Digital high five.
This
Nobody
beats,
was really nice.
it's so scientific.
Yeah.
It's so well presented. You remembered the horoscopes and this was a random lecture. This was not a planned lecture.
Yeah.
It's like the whole day session is over. Okay, now we are having chit chat. Wow,
Very
great.
nice.
Best.
Cool.
And then you start out with
People should buy your book.
Yes,
Right now.
yes.
You send me the link. I'm going to put it under.
I'll send you all the more reason because these
Do you have a
degrees,
copy of that book? We can show it.
it's in the bookstore and they're closed.
Hey, you guys, let me tell you something. Someone makes a joke about this, but he wrote a book before this called Dharma Types.
I have that book.
And I happened to pick it up at the library, and Simon said last year we were talking just before I came here. I didn't know you were going to be here, and I read that book, and I was it's very hard to take. You have to know your subject well to take something that vast and put it into something succinct that's very readable. You're right, well too. Very interesting read. He said to me, I remember that you said to me last year, oh, you're one of the 26 people that bought that book or read that book. So
I'm working for 27, cover all the nakshatras.
I might even, if I'm not interested in sports contests, I don't watch sports, but if you're putting stuff like this in it,
That's in there.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
I personally, I'm a bit wary of, gambling and Jyotish,
We should,
But if this is there in your book, I'm buying it right now.
yeah.
Thank you.
Because for me, this knowledge is brilliant.
It is
Absolutely
I
brilliant.
mean, and then Penny also gave us this. I guess this comes from Park, right?
Yeah, and some of it is my own.
Yeah,
sort
because
of research.
Abhijit, she told us 6:40 to 10 Capricorn.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the standard, right?
oh, is that the
That's-
standard?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, he
But
did
you-
mention, that some he has
Correct. Some
researched for the.
variations.
And you work with this a bit too because of the contest and
Mhm.
stuff and so on.
That's
I just
awesome.
kept seeing charts where I was wrong, and finally I found, oh my gosh, this 21 degrees keeps coming up. Maybe that has something to do with it. And then I saw that's the star Vega. And it didn't have a nakshatra, so Abhijit was.
Interesting.
Well, thank you guys. That's too kind, too kind. And
Excellent.
woohoo! Gil, we made the sale. You guys know the Simpsons? All right. We'll see you all tomorrow. Let's get some
We need to have
rest.
more of you, Simon.
Wow,
Really,
I would love that.
really.
I'm glad I came. Simon.